Hello everyone, this is Cowboy 2011. Today I'm going to bring you some of my, a wish list of characters that I want to see in Kombat Pack 2. Of course, none of this is confirmed, but I'd really just like to see at least some of these characters. It'd be cool if there's all of them, but no, I'm going to give you way more than 4, just my thoughts. And I'm just going to name them off because they're all in alphabetical order, so they're not in any particular order, so here we go. The first one is Baraka. Of course, this guy has, I don't know what his variations would be, but he was in the story, you know, it was cool. I feel like he deserves just one last push before he goes completely obsolete, because he's dead in MKX. Oh, did I spoil that for you? Oops. Well, anyway, he's dead. He died. But you already know he's not going to be in any future Mortal Kombat game, so I think it'd be cool if this was his final appearance as a playable character, not just an NPC. Well, of course, that's just my thoughts. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on Brock. Please, it'd be interesting to hear what you guys think. So we move on to the second one, and that is Frost. I just feel like Frost is in there because, one, she is awesome. She's a female Sub-Zero, and we don't have that many females in this game. She would be a cool addition because she has a almost like a Scorpion Rage with Sub-Zero's powers. It's actually really interesting character. Well, from the MKX storyline, she's just pissed at Scorpion. She tries. Anyway, yeah, I think she'd be cool. I don't know what her variations would be to be different from Sub-Zero, or if they'd be the same and overlapping. But you know, this is just a wish list. It's not confirmed. Next one would be Fujin. Fujin is a really highly recommended character. I don't see why he wouldn't be in the next Kombat Pack 2. If they're not, then I guess they're not really listening to the people crying out, "Please give us Fujin," and stuff like that. I don't know why they would just ignore that so blindly. But yeah, I think he'll be included, but of course on the wish list, I think he has the highest chance in here. Move on to the next one, and that is Havoc. I think Havoc would be a really cool character, unless they're going to use him in a future game, which is like, I guess, the next game or whatnot, but Havoc would be a really cool character. I mean, look at him right now, just sitting there. I don't know, or standing there. I don't know what his variations would be or what, but he would be a really cool addition to this MKX. And, I don't know, he'd just be really cool, and I'd like to have him. Next one would be Noob, and I know what you're going to say. Noob died in MK9. Drop it. It's just the same as Jade died. Jade's not coming back. I believe Jade is not coming back. As for Noob, I believe he actually could come back. It's actually a character later on, which I'll mention. But I think he's still, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I think he's still alive in some form, but it's hard to explain. I'll just wait till we get to the character I think that he's connected to that makes sense why he's alive. So, moving on to the next one, and that is Rain. Rain is also a really wanted character. I mean, his design looks great. He was a DLC in the last game, I know that, but that doesn't mean they can't bring him back. You know, this is just someone who I can't believe was in part of the original cast in MKX, because everyone loved him in MK9, and I don't know why they didn't bring him back, or he just fight him. But of course, he could come back. Everything is possible. Him and Fujin are the most requested characters if there's a Kombat Pack 2, and they want him as DLC. So, I believe he has the highest chance of getting back in. The next one would be Reiko. Once again, Reiko, right here. This is a comic version of him, but he looks just the same as he did in the older games, but I think he'd be a really cool addition to the game. You know, he has a Kamidogo dagger right there. I think is that a Kamidogo dagger? I think it is, I'm not too sure. But I think he'd be a really cool addition to the cast and whatnot. If you don't have Havoc, you have to have Reiko. If not Reiko, Havoc, I'd have to see either or, maybe even both, but you know, I don't know about that. Going on to the next character, and this is Serena. And this is where I was talking about Noob Saibot. As you can tell, we don't have that many female characters in this cast, so I'd like to see Frost, or her, or any of the other females I mentioned later on. But she, in the storyline, she pleads with Katana that Baihan has helped me free from Quan Chi's control. I could do the same for you. Well, Baihan was Noob Saibot, which was the original Sub-Zero. And we pretty much followed Sub-Zero throughout MK9, unless there's a gap that it's just not telling us about. But, and how she was freed from Quan Chi's control because of Baihan doesn't make sense, because he died pretty early in MK9, which he became Noob Saibot. So if she is still released from his control, is Baihan alive? Or the original Sub-Zero, is Noob alive? That's where I'm thinking he is. That soulmate on MK9 somehow freed him. He's walking around by himself, freed his control, expanded his mind, or you know, something along those lines. But I just believe that Noob is alive through Serena, and I think Serena should be a playable character just because we don't have enough female characters in this game. Moving on to the next one is Sindel. Now, a lot of people really want Sindel. I don't think that I don't see a reason why she would be in here. She is also a really high requested character. I think she'll be one of the ones that comes into the next Kombat Pack 2 if it was like a story pack with Fujin, Rain, and then there's Sindel. Like I said, there's not that many female characters in the game, and I'd like to see more female characters just for more of a diversity, not really just the same old characters, just add you know, you just add a casting games. I think that's really, or Devorah, I don't know, that's it, really. But anyway, I'd like to see more female combatants over males, just to show that fight too, stuff like that. So we go into the next one, and Scarlet. I think Scarlet would be a really cool addition to the game. Once again, she was a DLC character in MK9. She can't come back. Well, anything's possible. She could come back. I know Rain, like I said, is a really high anticipated character. He could come back even though he's a previous DLC. I'd like to see Scarlet once again, just because for more female in the cast, I think she'd be really cool with her blood powers, like going in and out of combos, like in a puddle behind him, and raining down on him blood or something like that. Something really cool. She could have a lot of potential with variation systems and whatnot. So we go into the next one, and Smoke. This is another highly requested character. Smoke has of course he's in the game. I don't think you fight him. I think it's just like a cutscene of I am Ninra, or in Ninra, stuff like that. Then after that he's down. So there's no gameplay on him. I think I'd really like to see Smoke, especially in this in Ninra, how he says I'm in. Smoke is no more, I am in Ninra, or something along those lines. I think he has more potential as a powerful character, a real powerhouse through Ninra, or Ninra, other than Smoke. Of course, he technically is in the game as a faction kill for the Lin Kuei. I think it's like Smoke's Revenge, and he just appears. Well, anyway, if they were to include it, there you got two skins right there made. They got a Revenant skin, and they got a live Smoke skin right there, already done. Anyway, moving on to the next one is Taisa. I'm not too sure if I'm saying it right, but she was featured in the MKX comic, and she also made her appearance in Mortal Kombat Special Forces alongside Tremor. Of course, he's been long forgotten, but she's like a master swordswoman, or swordsman, whatever you want to call it. But I think she would be a really cool character, because once again, a female. I really want to see more female characters in this game. But she's also a brand new character, kind of like Tremor. They set the groundwork, but of course his powers they didn't really have any limits on his powers. That's why they went like crystal, gold, lava, rock. She could be the same thing. They set the groundwork for her. Now they can expand on variations and what skills she has and stuff like that. So those are pretty much my wish list for this Kombat Pack 2 if it's coming to MKX. Now, if they included guest characters, who would I want as a guest character? Well, let's start with my first pick, and that is, of course, going to be Spawn. I would really like Spawn in this game because he'd just fit the game so well, and he'd actually talk to people, not just over there grabbing a knife out of his neck or roaring like Predator. He'd be the first guest character to actually interact with people and maybe have comebacks, not just like any time now. And it's done. I'd like to go back and forth. I'd like to see a character or a guest character. Well, it would be a guest character. I'd like to see a guest character that goes back and forth with all the characters whenever they talk. but he would have great potential, and I'd really like to see that. The next one is number 2 would be Terminator, the T-800. Of course, this would be like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator, but once again, I want to see him talk. I want to see him interact with the characters and cast and stuff like that. This would be cool because you'd have the Predator versus Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he's a Terminator. You can go back and forth on that and whatnot, and it'd just be really cool. He would be another big character, but once again, his fighting style, I'm not so sure if you'd want to include it in the game. The reason why I say that is because like he's a big brute character against like these martial artists, high-low overheads, kick-low overheads. I mean, it's almost going to be the same thing with what happened with Jason. He's going to do a lot of damage, but he's not really going to be that high of a tier because he's going to be the guest character and whatnot. So moving on to the next one, and my third guest character that I would like to include is a Xenomorph from Alien, just for Alien versus Predator. Now a lot of people wanted this. At first I didn't know how you do the variations on Alien until I kind of just went through the Xenomorphs, you know, Xenomorph stuff, and there's a lot of different Xenomorphs which I could see it being variations. Like for example, you have a Defender Xenomorph where it has like a harder skull, a brown harder skull, and brown on the wrists and stuff, where it can take hits better and take projectiles. Now if you put that into Mortal Kombat, all of a sudden you have a move that can say reduce chip damage, reduce overall damage if activated right, and can have block projectiles with no chip damage whatsoever, or something along those lines. Of course, you got like a lot of different Xenomorphs that you can go on, like a Queen Xenomorph that can like spawn an egg. I don't really know if you want to lay an egg on screen or whatnot, but stuff like that. And you'd have some cool brutalities with them too, with like the face huggers and a little alien popping about the chest and whatnot. But anyway, these are the characters I want to see in Mortal Kombat 2. Or Mortal Kombat 2, God. Mortal Kombat, or the Kombat Pack 2. I'd like to see any one of these characters, or any 4 of these characters, whether they go all 4 Mortal Kombat characters, and no guest characters. I just want to see 2 females and 2 males. That's what I would really want. 2 males, 2 females, because we need more females in this game. If they go down the, maybe even, of course, I don't think they'll be 1 male and 3 females, but that's always a possibility. But I think we just need more females in this game. And they could also do the whole, they could do the 3-in-1, which would be 3 combat characters, 1 guest, or they could do what they did here with 2 combat characters and 2 guest characters. I don't really see that happening. I think we are pretty lucky enough just to get 2 guest characters as is with Jason and Predator. But of course, anything's really possible as long as it makes money. For all we know, 20th Century went, wow, they got a lot of money. We got a lot of money just for them using Predator in this Mortal Kombat game. Do you think they want to do Alien 2 or any of the other ones where Spawn's really highly requested? I wonder if we can get him in that game and make some money, or you know, with Terminator and stuff like that. As long as it makes money, they're going to do it. So anyway, that's all I really got to say about this, and that's really just my wish list. I'd like to hear what your guys' wish list is. Who would you guys really want this game if you had to pick 4 or 5 characters? Your top, how many did I use? Top 10? I think I used way more than 10. Let's see, 4, 8, 12, right, 12, 14. I used 14 characters, 3 as guests. I'd like to say your top 15 characters. I'd like to see them in the comment section below, just so I have an idea how you engage them. Of course, I don't know if you're actually going to want to put like number 1 spot 15. Like, I just named the characters I wanted. I don't have any particular order for them. But yeah. Anyway, this is Cowboy 2011. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.